Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is G.W. Slaughter, also, of course, known as George. He's a business strategist and author. Welcome to the show, GW.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here. My goal is to make sure that everybody takes something valuable away from this meeting here. So I'm ready to rock and roll whenever you are, Gigi.
I love it. Welcome to the show. Now, why don't you start off by telling us about you and where you are from?
I am in Cardinal Nation, St. Louis, Missouri. Born and raised here, but I did spend about 17 years of my life in Atlanta, where I started my first businesses and learned how to do things. The learn my business acumen for the most part. Right now, I am a partner in a web design marketing company, but I also do coaching, speaking, and events, conferences. I love doing conferences. I love speaking. But my favorite thing to do is one-on-one coaching with people and helping them get their business strategies, their mindset, and their execution and accountability to the level that it needs to be in order for them to win.
I love it. Now, tell us more about your book, The Room is Better Because I'm in It, 7 Actions of a Networking Most Valuable Connector.
Okay, so that book was born out of me starting off moving back to the St. Louis market in 2008 and starting a new business in 2009. Excuse me, yeah, 2009. And I quickly started to get involved in the Chamber of Commerce, local networking groups, things like that. And I very quickly became one of the top 100 people to know in the area, in the St. Louis region. And so as that started to grow, my my following started to grow, and people were asking me questions. And I was running networking groups and growing chapters and things like that, and spending a lot of time getting people to find their way in the networking circles. So I started to hear people say, "Well, I hate networking. I don't like it." And so I kind of wrote the book as a way to help you understand and navigate the networking landscape, but also a way to help you avoid the pitfalls and the burnout that can come from taking too many coffees, too many lunches, too many happy hours, too many let me pick your brain sessions, that kind of stuff. So it was really born out of a need that I saw in the market that wasn't really being addressed. People don't talk about networking in depth, and I learned a lot in 10 years of doing it and becoming one of the more notable networkers around the city here. And so I wanted to share that with people.
I love it. You saw a problem and then you found a solution. Very powerful. Now, tell us more about your experience leading the largest BNI chapter in the St. Louis metro area as chapter president for 5 years.
Well, when I first started, there was a need, actually another need to be addressed because uh, a lot of the BNI chapters that you get into nationwide are more lean. They're great for realtors and mortgage people and financial advisors, and insurance people are really what they call the four cornerstones. So those people usually don't have a problem getting business. And so when you have those people in place already, but what I realized is that there was very little B2B networking going on. A lot of contractors. We had people that were a group that was in our chapter that was really focused on helping people with weddings. So you had the cake maker, the photographer, the caterer, the DJ, everybody working together in that group. So what I did was I formed a B2B group inside of my chapter, which really took off, and it drew the attention of a lot of other people who wanted to either join or come from other chapters to join us. And so I had a two-tiered system. I had a tier of B2B that dealt with mom and pops, and then I had a tier that dealt with businesses that did over $1 million of revenue or more. And and having those two distinctions help people to really coagulate and make a stronger bond with each other by really having, hey, listen, this is the business that I'm looking for. Because a lot of people at the mom and pop level, they're not talking to CEOs. They're talking to independent business owners, and there's a big difference when you're out there trying to connect people. So I think that was my biggest success. We had the largest chapter in the two state area, Missouri, Illinois, and we maintained that for about 2 years. We won a lot of awards, and it taught me a lot, you know. And part of it was getting in front of 50 to 100 people every week at my chapter meetings and putting on my presentation and answering questions and just having a good time. I really had a good time doing it. It was so much fun. The people in my chapter would always try to trip me up when I'm in the middle of a presentation and stuff, and just having the witty comebacks ready for them and stuff like that, just to keep it moving. But it was really fun. And then from there, I went into actually managing multiple BNI chapters in the area, which actually turned out to be a very good move for me as well, because it expanded my brand even more than it was. And that was when I started to really look deeply into writing the book.
I love it. Now tell us more about your experience serving in the United States Army.
Uh, oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to date myself. I'm a Desert Storm veteran. Um, I was um, I went in 1988, and my first duty station after all of the trainings and everything was um, Nuremberg, Germany, where I had a really good time living in Germany and traveling over other parts of Europe. And it was a great time, for a teen, late teen. And so then, of course, the whole Kuwait thing kicked off with the original Bush as president, not GW, the other GW, not me. uh, so the original George Bush sent us over to Kuwait in 1991. It was great. It was a great time. Before that, because I was literally in Germany when the wall came down, so that was an experience. The end of the Cold War. I was right there in the middle of it, watching the wall come down, and meeting East German people for the first time, who most of them had never seen anybody that looked like me. So that was interesting. And but yeah, then I spent my time in Desert Storm, and I said, hey, that's enough for me. I'm ready to go home. So I came home and stayed in St. Louis for about 6 months, and then I made my trek down to Atlanta before the pre-Olympics, and it turned out to be a good move.
Absolutely amazing. Now, what does the term business mean to you, GW?
Business means the exchange, and business is an exchange. Which it's not just the exchange of goods or services; it's the exchange of information. It's the exchange of motivation. It's the exchange of ideas. It's the exchange of creativity. Business to me is just an exchange. We do business on all different levels. There's no one level that's different than the other. Yeah, we all want to make a buck at the end of the day, but there's so many other things that lead up to that dollar that is concerning your business. And so many things that lead up to not making that dollar that concerns your business. So I look at everything as an exchange. There's no winners, there's no losers. As long as everybody gets what they want, everything is relative to the individual. Someone can make a tremendous profit and wish they had more. Somebody could take a tremendous loss and be glad that they're done. So it's really not about the dollar amount or winning and losing. It's all about perception. And as long as both parties feel that they have completed their task and gotten to where they wanted to be, then the exchange is always good.
Very powerful. Now, how does having a positive mindset affect your business decisions?
Oh my goodness. I couldn't imagine what it would be like if I didn't have a positive mindset. Because, the thing about it, especially in entrepreneurship, there's always going to be those opposing things. It might be voices, it might be situations, it might be my website doesn't work today. It might be, what? I need to make this next sale in order to keep the lights on. So without a positive attitude, those things just seem to exacerbate themselves. The bad things do. You know, you get. I'm a firm believer. You get back energy wise what you put out, and if you're constantly bombarded and you're bogged down, and you're going to continue to get more and more of that. And who wants more and more of that? And then next thing you know, you wake up like wondering why is it all happening to me? It's all happening to you. It's like Reese's Pieces, like leading ET to the ship. You're like, hey, let me pick this one up. Let me pick that one up, and then next thing you know, you're kidnapped. you know. So you just have to always have a positive mindset because when you start something, you believe in it, right? And the only thing that can change that is your mindset. When you stop believing in it, and my favorite thing is, as an entrepreneur who's fallen down and who's lost a whole lot more than he's won, um, my belief has always been the only way you lose is to quit, right? That's the only way you lose. There is no other. There's failure along the way. There's complications along the way. But until you just say, hey, you know what? I'm done, you know, then you're done. But until that day, there's always hope. So you're saying there's a chance. There's always a chance.
There's always a chance. Very inspiring. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, what does perseverance mean to you?
Perseverance. I think that's all wrapped up into the positive mindset. Um, I don't think one has to persevere per se. I think that when you understand that it's all part of the process, then you just go through it without thinking about it. Perseverance to me implies that you have to really like shake off all of this negativity or whatever it is, and it comes your way. But when you learn how to be a good, when you learn how to swing that bat or that tennis racket and keep it away from you, you get a lot better at that. And perseverance is not as necessary. I think when you get in the mindset of, you know what, this just comes along with the territory. I'm grateful that I have this challenge because I'm ready for it. I'm picked. I'm chosen for it, and so I'm going to push. I'm going to show this challenge. It just doesn't mean any more than any of the rest of them. It just might take a little bit more time, a little bit more effort, and a little bit more resources, but it's just a challenge. It's just like the rest of them.
That's right. I love it. Now, what does leadership mean to you?
Leadership. That's a good question. Taking the time to pour into others what has been poured into you. Um, Taking the time to give to others what has been given to you, taking the time to share with others what have been shared with you. I think a leader basically to me is a conduit. You know, you just process it in and give it back out, and people are going to follow you and support you because you're genuinely just letting everything flow through you versus trying to force somebody or you know put somebody in a position of less than. I said this the other night that we're all here to serve others, and when you put yourself in a position where you start to believe that others here are to serve you, you've already lost.
Amen. I agree 100%. Now, tell us more about the major challenge that you had to overcome in your life, GW.
I guess my biggest challenge was always being different. Um, as much as it's a gift, it's not a curse, it's a challenge because everybody doesn't get it, you know. And so you go through the phases with it where you try to hide it, you try to deny it, you know. I think differently, I act differently, I move differently than a lot of people. It didn't serve me well in school. It didn't serve me well in corporate America. It didn't serve me well in a lot of religious situations. I'm just different and I think different and I challenge everything, And so having that mindset was always followed me. And then I had a conversation with myself about 2 years ago, right after the book, and I'm like, you know what? People are going to accept me for who I am. They're going to follow me, for whatever I have to offer. If my tribe is small, then my tribe is small. If my tribe is broad, then my tribe is broad. But what they're going to do is there's never going to be a Wizard of Oz moment with me. It's not going to be if you come on my podcast and you hear me drop an F bomb. Sorry, but if I say something that rubs somebody the wrong way, I can't do anything about that. So I just have to be my absolute genuine self. And so that's always been the biggest challenge for me. And I think now that I've taken that on, more people have embraced my message.
I love it. Know your tribe. Now, what is your why that keeps you going?
So that's a funny thing because in my book, I said it's not about the why, it's about the who. You have to dig deeper than the why, because every why is attached to a who. People go out and do cancer walks and stuff because cancer affected somebody in their family. So their why is attached to a who. And that's just a basic example. You can't, I started asking people, and every time I heard that, I was like, yeah, there's something deeper than that. So my who is my future family, my immediate family and my future family. I want to leave a legacy behind for generations to come. I want my great grandkids, my great great grandkids to be able to say, my, my great great grandfather GW wrote that. My great great grandfather wrote this quote. Or he said this thing, or he made this, this other thing. And to leave them, millions of dollars would be great too. But it's really more about leaving a legacy of thought, and helping them avoid the pitfalls and the heartaches that I had to go through by showing them the light early in their lives, things like that.
The who aspect matters. Very powerful. Yes, sir. Now, was there a time in your life journey where you experienced an aha moment?
Every day, every day, every day. I mean, I'm always putting myself in positions to learn, and I'm always trying new things. Part of the reason why I didn't fit into school is because I wanted to learn things my way, on my time, on my terms. And so now that I'm a business owner, I get to do that. You know, we were just talking about, the software that we're on right now. I'm going to learn that before within the next hour. I will have it figured out. But those aha moments come. And they usually come from the inside, that whisper in your spirit that says something to you when you're meditating, or when you're in your silent time, or when you're creating. I'm a very, very creative person by nature. And so I find myself doing stuff and having conversations with myself about things that make a big difference. And I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? Inside here somewhere. So that's how it goes.
I love it. Now, GW, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Love your immediate self. That was my aha moment 2 days ago. And I looked up the word immediate, and it really means in the moment, right? A lot of us are, we all deal with our childhood and past things that happen to us, whether it be trauma, indecision, failures, or whatever the case may be. We all focus on that, and we learn how to overcome those things and forgive ourselves and forgive others. And we all want a bright future. But when you love your immediate self, the one that you can look at in the mirror and blow a kiss to, the one that you can look in the mirror and high five, and that immediate person is happy, then the old stuff starts to go away by itself, and the new stuff starts to create itself because you love your immediate self. And I learned to love my immediate self right here with my red hat, my red whatever. I love this version of me. I'm the best version of me working on the next version of me.
Amen. Love your immediate self. Very powerful. Now, thank you so much for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast, GW. Where can the audience find you?
They can find me on gwslaughter.com. It has all the links to my book, to my podcast, to booking me to speak, booking me to coach, all of those great things. Or just want to chat, have a consultation, and see where it goes. I'm over for that as well. And if they're coming from your audience, I have something great for them as well as something great for you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, GW. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out GW at gwslaughter.com. And GW, again, thank you so much for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. You have a blessed day.
You're amazing, Gigi. Best interview ever.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Bye.